Welcome back to Blue Heinz Garage. Today is Friday, August 23rd. We're working on this roof area some more, and what I'm doing now is setting up for a headliner in here. I was going to, it's a little back up for a second, I was going to put a piece of the vinyl over the top, facing down, stretch it over the top of those bows and the console facing down, so you would see the wood and you would see the face of the vinyl from the inside, and it would kind of act like a headliner. I've changed my mind on that, and what I'm going to do at this point is, you see there's the console in the middle, and then off on the right there's a space with a rib going front to back. Here the rib is removed. You can see the notches where it goes. And there's a space on this side that matches the other side. So what I'm doing now is making panels that will go in that space, recess between the side of the console and the new piece of sheet metal that I stood up in it, that I'm attaching. You see the clecos. I'm attaching a vertical piece of sheet metal there. It's an angle, actually. I'm going to panel adhesive the sheet metal to the 3/4 inch tubing that goes front to back. And I've stretched it so that it matches the contour of the tubing. The tubing's not straight. At the back it curves. You can see that right here. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a panel to go in that space, so that will cover the panel like a door panel, with clips on the back, so it will plug into little clips that I make, angle clips that I make that will accept those little panel clip fasteners. So I'm doing that on both sides. I'll get in the truck right now and show you what it looks like up close. Hang on. Here you can see the piece of sheet metal has tape. The new piece of sheet metal has tape on the side of it, so that I could lay out the bottom, the line that is going to be the bottom of the panel, well, the top side actually of the panel. So that line is where the little angle clips will stick out, angle brackets, excuse me. The line you see there, the pencil line you see there, is where the little angle brackets would stick out, that the clips that hold the panel will go into, will engage. See, I have the line across the back as well. Sorry, I just put my finger over the lens. I've got the line across the back, and on the side that's towards us, that line is there too. I haven't drawn it on this side. Yes, I have. Sorry. There's the line. Here. There's the line in the back. I'm stepping out of here. Hang on a second. There's the line. Again, that's the top side of the panel that's going to recess in this opening. In the front, it goes in over the top of this header. It just lays on top of that header, because that's, and then the rib is above this. See the rib? It goes in that the rib goes in that slot, so that it will actually be engaged between the bottom of the rib and the top of the header right there. So it'll be planted there. So like I say, what I'm doing right now is the sheet metal going across. It's made out of that sheet metal piece, that angle piece that's going front to back there, is made out of a piece of 2-inch sheet metal. Well, in the front, it's a little too tall. So what I'm doing right now is cutting it down. You see here how it's taller than the side piece, than this piece. It sticks up above here, so that ain't gonna work when you try and stretch fabric across there. So I have to cut it down. Back up here somewhere, I got it marked. Back up here somewhere, you can go from this piece to the console without the sheet metal sticking up above it. So that's my next step. I'm gonna cut the top of the sheet metal off so it doesn't stick up above the wood. Here's what it looks like on the top. See, I notched the end. Notch the end here because there's a hole there. That tubing that's under this is also a conduit for, see, there's an opening on this end too, for the speaker wires that go to the speaker in that box. The speaker wires will come up here, run through the tubing. They go down here. The speaker wires will go down that hole. You see that hole there? And they'll run through the header here and up into the console to the radio. Okay, let's see if I can film this without getting in my own way. I'm putting these clips up here. I don't know if you can see the clip there. You can see the clips. There's one. There's two. There's three. Okay, I'm putting these clips up. You see I've got a tape up there with a pencil line on it. That the pencil line indicates the top side, the back side of the backer panel that's going to hold the upholstered, the backer board that's going to hold the upholstered panel. I think I said that properly. So what I'm doing right now is trying to attach those clips at the right location, the right height, in the right dimensions horizontally. So what I've done is I've made this template with a couple of tiny little holes, like a template for where to drill the mounting holes. And I put the template up. You see it's got a notch here and a notch here. I put the line that I've got there in that notch. It's got a center line, so it shows me where I want it horizontally, you know, forward to back of the vehicle. And then I clamp that in place and drill through those two little holes. That's the pilot holes for the screws that are going to hold this up. Now, I've already done that. There's the pilot holes. I think you can see those. I've already driven the screw in each of those pilot holes. So now what I'm going to do is put the bracket up there, screw the bracket on there. You see that lines the bracket up with the bottom, with that pencil line. So have a look here and I'll put this up. What I'm going to do now is remove the tape first, because I don't want it stuck behind the clip. Come on. Probably right in my own way here. I don't know, can you see that? There. Well, now you see the clips on that piece are all installed. Okay, well, I've got one of them hung already, but for you here looking at this, it's behind the console, behind the radio section of the console. I'm using these screws up here. They're called Tech screws, TEC. They have the little drill bit right on the end of the screw, but I'm drilling a pilot hole just to make sure that I've got them exactly where I want them. The pilot hole's a tiny bit smaller than the drill bit on the end of the screw. Come on, I got enough shit in here to choke a horse. Okay. Not the easiest place to work. Ah! Doesn't feel good on your back. Okay, Hopefully you can see this. Okay, let's see if I can move the clamp and drill the other hole. Now, what I'm using here as clamps is something that I do all the time. I don't know how many of you do it too. I use these all the time. Binder clips. I use them for more shit than more than paper actually. Here, let's put this on that side so I can move the clamp to the left. Yeah, the hole's still lined up there. Don't want to move anything. You should be doing this without moving the clamp, but I don't have that option. This is not the kind of stuff that an 81-year-old usually does. You got to be a little limber and shit to do this stuff in a space like this. If there's anything I'm not, it's limber. Okay, let's get rid of this. Remove the tape. There you go. Clip is installed. See, that goes in right there. I don't know if you can see that. And then I'm going to put brackets on the side. Hello there. Welcome back to Blue Hind's Garage. Today is August 27th, Tuesday. And we're here working on old Hank some more. Showed you yesterday I was putting these clips in for the headliner panels. So you've got this side's complete. There's 4, 8, 12 of them on this side. I can only show you 8 of them. And on the other side I have the perimeter clips up, 4 there. And on this side that I can't really show you very well, the inside here, see there's 4 down the inside here too. What I got to do now is put the bow in the middle, and put the 4 on that go on the bow. Those are the hardest of all of them because they're a little more difficult to locate the level. Okay, well, let's see how that works. Looks like you're going to have a pretty good view, field of vision, whatever you call all of this. Anyway, let's give this a try. Okay, I think we're ready to show you the process of installing those center clips. Let's get started. I've taken this other bow out so I could stand over here on this side and work on this one. And once I got the clips on this one, then I'll put this bow back. So first thing I got to do is put this bow in. All right. Now you see what I've done here, so I wouldn't bore you to death setting this up. I have a piece going from the clip on this side to the clip on that side, and that's what's going to determine the height on this one. Got one set up here as a drilling guide. The reason you notice I've got all these clips here instead of making a solid piece that goes front to back to mount this backboard. And the reason for that is that there's almost nothing flat, straight, in a straight line in this particular area. Everything's curved. This is curved this way, the side's curved that way, the front is even curved, not nearly as much, but the front has even got a hump in the middle. You learn one thing really, really early in working on old Fords. There's almost nothing straight about an old Ford. All the panels are curved. There we go. I'm trying to line up this clip on the, and everything wants to move. Let's give that a try. With my guide there, the piece that goes across side to side, I can't get the drill in there to drill a straight hole. I might have to remove that completely. Yeah, I do. I have to remove that in order to drill a hole that's half-assed straight. Let's see. I know it's probably going uphill, but I'm doing that because the screw is so close to the bottom of the bow. Okay, well, it's the next day. These pieces are the sheet metal pieces you're looking at right here on this edge. is now permanent. It's panel bonded. I glued it with panel adhesive yesterday afternoon. So it is more than secure. I mean, you do that, you shake the whole truck. And what I'm doing today is playing countertop guy. You see what I've done here is made a template of that opening, just like the countertop guys do when they come and make templates for your stone for the countertop. They do this. They use PVC or something. I'm using extra of this panel material. After I cut a chunk that'll make the piece, this was left over, so I'm using it for my template. You see this side matches the contour of, that's the bent edge, the curved edge. The rest of these are straight, but they taper. It's narrower in the front than it is in the back. So you make a template like this and there's no losing. I mean, because you take measurements and calculate the taper and all, and most times, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work. So anyway, we're gonna see how this works. Okay, so there's my pattern. I forgot to mention when I showed you this that the corners are hot glued with my wife's trusty hot glue gun. Again, that's what the countertop guys do. They show up with a hot glue gun and a bunch of strips of PVC, and when they leave, they got patterns for all your countertops. Pretty good from here. Kind of looks almost finished. Okay, well, there's what it looks like from the top side, the working side. See all the little clips sticking through all the little spring clips sticking through the panel clips, I think is what I'm trying to say. So that side's fitted. This side, that's what the template looks like before it's glued. It's all ready to be glued. It's clamped, it's fitted on the sides. What I did was took it apart, turned everything upside down, brought this piece, the curved piece over, and it needed to be scribed and refitted, which meant I had to take 1/8 of an inch off of it, reshape it. And then that's set. The rest of the 3 sides are straight. They just have to be placed in the right position. So it's all clamped, ready to be glued. First thing tomorrow, that's what's going to happen. That's going to get glued. I'll got another piece of the backboard over there. And I found last night that the shear cuts that really, the metal shear right there, cuts that really nice. You put it up there and you get it where you want it, and you stand on the pedal for the shear, and just your weight makes the shear go nice. It goes right across the piece. It cuts it really nice and straight, obviously, and accurately, obviously, if you want a straight line. So that was a nice, Scott, he walked by and he goes, I wonder if you can shear this. And I had an extra piece from that header that I had made a while ago, and I tried it on there. I was like, oh, hell yeah, you can. So anyway, I'll chop that up tomorrow. I'll make the plug, the piece that's going to fit, and I'll make, that's all I got to make out of that one. It's just I think it's an 18.5 by, no, I made it 20 by 35.5. And then obviously once you get the pattern, you put the pattern on, a little bit of it goes away. All right, anyway, that's it for now. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Okay, well, here we are, cutting up the next insert, backboard for the next insert. Got one side actually is flat, so I just lined that up. This side didn't quite match, so I recut it, just cut a tiny bit off. This is the curved side. You see we glued up the new pattern, and I'm using that as a guide. And there's what I'm cutting it with. Using that as a guide, the pattern. And I've cut, the straight part is cut. I got to take the pattern off now. I had it clamped. You're not seeing the way I had it clamped. I just took the clamps and hung them up over there. Because obviously you don't want it to move. So you see I sheared it off on the metal shear over there. It's 20 inches wide. I just left it full length. So I'm going to remove the pattern now, put a straight edge and finish that straight cut where the two side pieces interrupted the straight plane. There you go. It's cut, and there's what I use routinely as a straight edge. It's I got this probably, wow, in the 70s probably. So what would that make it? 70s, 30 and 20, 50 years ago on a job site. This is it's intended to be and used as a windowsill for an aluminum window. You would see it this way. The sheetrock wall below it would go, this would be the inside wall. That would go over the end of the sheetrock coming up to the window opening. So on this job site where I got this, the windows came with these aluminum pieces and they didn't use them. They used wood for a frame around the aluminum windows instead of, so there was all these aluminum pieces laying around. So I have this one, I think it's roughly 3 feet. Let's see. No, it must be 30 inches because I think these, I don't recall what the length of those was. It might be 3 feet. And then I have another one, just for the hell. I mean, this has nothing to do with what I'm building, but you see the tall level, the 6 foot level there? There's another one of those aluminum pieces behind it. And the aluminum piece is almost 6 feet long. So I got one of those, the little 6 foot pieces and one of the 3 foot pieces, and I've been using them as straight edges ever since. Okay, so there's my piece that I'm good. Now I will install this. This should now fit tight. That's the way the pattern was built. It was built tight against the sides of the opening. So now I'm going to go put this in, assuming it fits tight to the opening. I'll hold it up from underneath and I'll drill through a couple of those 1/8 inch holes, one at a time, put the clecos in until I have like one on each corner at least, and probably two in the middle, holding it up in place, all tight. And then I'll use, I got one already over there, but for the sake of showing you, I'll use a compass closed down to 1/8 of an inch or just under. I'll go all around the edge with that compass and give myself a line parallel to the outside edge of the opening, roughly 1/8 inch below, inside that edge. So then I can bring it over here, back over here, this piece, take it out, bring it back over here and use the block plane and sandpaper to very accurately dress it down to that pencil line that I'm going to make with the compass. Ordinary, the real tool for doing this is not a compass, it's called a scribe. S-C-R-I-B-E. Carpenters use it routinely. Other people use them routinely too, but carpenters. My dad was a carpenter, so he had all that stuff. And the one that he had a little, see, this is, it's pretty hard. It holds the dimension pretty good. But the real ones, the scribes, have a little wing nut so that when you put it where you want it, it doesn't move. Okay, well, the second side is fit. It's really hard to film this because it's so tight. There's no space in there. Second side is up there. You see the clecos are holding it up. So the next, and it's got a scant 1/8 all around the edge. scant. In other words, little, well, an eighth or under. Let's put it that way. Some places it's an eighth. I tried to keep it a bit under, but don't know if I succeeded. That's a pretty tough. And in spots it is. Yeah, it looks like it might be. Tried to keep it an eighth under. Wanted to leave the line. The hard thing here is that this is a paper fiber product. So when you start sanding it or cutting it, the paper on the face just rolls up. Well, if that's where your mark is on the paper, and the paper is rolling up on the edge, the mark is buried in the paper that rolled up. And by the time, if you aren't careful, when you cut off the excess paper, you cut off the line as well because you cut a little bit too deep. So you got to try and get rid of that flap that develops without removing the line till you work to the line. And it's a bit difficult because, anyway, you kind of develop. I was using sandpaper at an angle. You kind of wipe the sandpaper across that face, that rolled up face at an angle, so it cuts it right on the edge, right on the corner. If you try and use a utility knife or something, it cuts a little too deep and the line goes away. So that's what I tried to do here, and it looks like I was pretty successful at it. It's gonna work. I mean, it's acceptable. When the vinyl is rolled around, if there's a tiny little gap where it meets the tubing here, where it meets the metal, it's going to look fine. So here, the next step now is one at a time. Take the clecos down and enlarge that 1/8 inch hole to a 1/4 inch, to a 1/4 inch hole. And what I've done, I've got two drills, one with a 3/16 bit in it and one with a 1/4 inch bit in it. And that's what I did on that side. One at a time, remove the cleco, drill a 3/16 hole where there's now an 1/8, and then enlarge the 3/16 to a 1/4. Put the clip in and move on to put the spring clip in that hole, and then move on to the next one. So that's what I'm doing next. And once I'm done with that, that'll finish this side for me. There's 12 of those on each side. So see you later. Okay, well, this is what this looks like on the inside. Beginning to look finished, even though it's not even painted yet. Okay, so that second panel is in. They're both fitted. I think they're going to work just fine. I'm kind of happy with that. I was concerned about how I was going to make those panels because the shape is not an easy shape. I mean, it's, you got to make a pattern. And it was way easier than I anticipated, which is, knock on wood, which you always hope for. Don't expect, but hope for. I'll show you the top. Hang on. Well, there's what the top looks like. See all the little spring clips sticking through? That's what the top looks like. See the top side of the console, the top side of those inserts. So I believe this is the last I'm going to have to do with the upholstery. I'm not sure, but as far as I know at this point, I think this is the last I have to do with upholstery prep. I think that's all of it. I talked to the guy last week. He said he thought at least 2 weeks. He's working on a boat. He said he's got to finish that first. So he said probably 2 weeks or more before he can start. He could do all the panels. He can do the cushions. Obviously can't cover the top and do the visor. That'll be the last thing. But that has to happen after it's painted. So I'm happy with this. Now, last night I put a video up. I was going to show you what I'm doing here in a video that I was going to make last night. And when I sat there, discovered that I had, after fighting to cut it to shorten it, I had 30 minutes of video working on all this wood stuff, that modifications I did to the roof structure itself. So that's a video that's up right now. That one's only, I put it up late last night. So I'll try and get this one. I'm planning on trying to put this one up tonight. And this got a lot of footage too. I'm gonna have to do some editing on this one too. I know I set the tripod up over there when I was doing something here, and I think I got 29 minutes worth of film. Obviously, I ain't gonna. So kind of dull and boring if I show you all of that, which I'm not gonna. I'll cut that down a whole bunch. But at any rate, hopefully you'll see you very shortly in another video. Again, as always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the content. And if you do, I would appreciate a like, and I would certainly like to hear comments. So again, thanks for watching. Bye.